Now, Mr. Sandosh Kumar.
Thank you, Vice Chairman, sir. Sir, I had a chance to take part in a similar kind of discussion soon after my entry to this August House. That was the 256th session of the Rajya Sabha, and the issue was almost same: the inclusion of a particular community to the list of STs. And as you know, there are demands from various communities throughout the country for the inclusion of this particular list. But I think this August House and especially the government should seriously think about the status of Adivasis and Dalits in this country. I mean the plight of Adivasis and Dalits in this country. Whether this inclusion, changing, shifting, exclusion alone will help the upliftment of Adivasis. This is the most important in a $1 million question. So why I am raising this question once again? For example, kindly think about the nomadic tribes. You must be aware of the term, this denotified tribes. So 1871, in the British India, the Britishers made certain tribes as criminals and listed as notified tribes. And why they were notified? Because they were in the fight against the Britishers. And soon after the independence, it was in the year 1949, one of the finest pieces of legislation which happened in independent India was the denotification of these tribes. And now we have 11 codes of nomadic tribes, this denotified class of tribes in this country. And to substantiate my point, this is the data of 2011 census. So do you have anything related to the status of nomadic tribes in this country? What about the rate of unemployment? Leave all other things, education, unemployment, employment, everything. Do you have anything related to the fundamental rights of these nomadic tribes, which are more than 11 codes in this country? That the government should seriously think of it. Secondly, as most of my fellow speakers have pointed out, unemployment, lack of educational facilities are also haunting the tribes in this country. So what we need, apart from other things, the reservation in private sector. So do you have any plan to introduce reservation in private sector? I think the government, आप बहुत सारे बोल रहे हैं, सबके साथ है, विकास है, सब कुछ बोल रहे हैं, लेकिन do you have any real plan to get it implemented in the private sector? I think you don't have any plan to get it implemented. And thirdly, the question of untouchability. Even in this country, even the Dalit Panchayat president, Sarpanchs, are facing the grave threat of untouchability. It is happening in almost all parts of the country, except some states like Kerala, especially in North India. This is not to blame my friends in North India, but you have to seriously think about this issue and try to change this issue. Fourthly, as Professor Manoj had already demanded, we need a caste census in this country, because hundreds of castes in this country with the different, their own codes and everything. There must be a caste census in this country, and your move to introduce UCC will endanger the prospects of all these tribes and Dalits in this country. So what I demand, and it's a demand of my party also, that we need caste census. And finally, I would like to tell you this, in Kerala, we have an institution called Kirtats to study the details, make a scientific study about the status of Dalits and tribes. So only after the scientific study, we include a particular caste to that of tribes. Without scientific study, yes, of course, in Uttar Pradesh, there were long pending demands, movements, everything was there. But you should conduct a scientific study. Without proper study, you cannot converse a particular this group into another group. No, this must be anthropological study. So have you conducted any kind of anthropological study before changing this? It should not be a political slogan alone. There are demands from various parts of the country, as I told you. But in Kerala, the practice is that, of course, this happened in many parts of the country. Dalits were converted to the, listed in the tribes list, and that happened. It's nothing new in it. For example, the Mavilan community in Kerala was part of Dalits, and they were transferred to the list of tribes. It happened. It may happen in future also. But that was based on a scientific study. So do you have any kind of institution in Uttar Pradesh and other parts of the country to study to detail? It should not be just because of the political movement. So these are the points which I want to make. And with these cosmetic change, this is not going to help the Adivasis and tribes. I don't want to further elaborate other points because almost all my fellow speakers have spoken about these issues. So kindly think about the Dalits and Adivasis very seriously. This should not be an election manifesto. This should not be just for cosmetic changes. That's what I request.